Right, starting the stream. A bit. Oh, fuck. Have I moved 14 titles? Yeah, no music, Hobbit. We're just going straight in. Straight in, no lube, Hobbit.
Oh, yeah. Fuck it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
I think I've moved the titles. I think that's probably why they're not working. Oh, no, they're working now.
Oh, okay.
I'll push the right. We've got titles now. Welcome to another Fortean Words. Another flawless start there, Hobbit.
It's what the audience expects and it's what they deserve.
Remember, you're listening to it, so it's for you as Borzoi would say.
Yep.
Do you remember Borzoi? Do you remember people used to listen to Borzoi?
Do you remember when he wasn't a nerd that deserved to get a dead leg and shoved into a locker?
No, I don't think there ever was a time, was there?
No, there never was. It never happened. I made it up. So, cloud's a conspiracy because he would say chemtrails, then Susan would be like, "No, fuck you. I better put a Wikipedia link saying you're wrong." So what is they? What they is people, I say people, demons, spraying the sky with all sorts of things, mostly from planes, but also doing it from boats where you can't see it. And the reason they're doing that is to terraform the atmosphere so demons can live amongst us, so we're more conductive to X-band radar as well as 5G, meaning that those that took the jab will become mind-controlled zombie slaves and kill all of us which aren't compliant. So for all of those asking, like, why would they jab the complacent ones? Because they're going to be turned into an army of zombie robot slaves. Right, that's it. Thanks for listening to my talk. You can go away now. Show's done.
Well done, a bit. Nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, it only took me a minute. That's good, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, so, you're going to flesh more out than that, aren't you?
Why should I?
Yeah, why should you? Because they're not paying for this. They're getting it for free.
Exactly. Why should I? I mean, like, I've told you what's happening. What more do you need? Proof or something? Well, I suppose I could do a bit of proof. I mean, let me just type in Operation Popeye, because that's a good one. And, let's just go to Wikipedia. Operation Sober Popeye. Operation Sober Popeye, project-controlled weather Popeye, motorpool intermediary compatriot, was a military cloud seeding project carried out by the US Air Force during the Vietnam War in 1967 to 1972. Now, for those not familiar, cloud seeding is when you spray the sky with chemicals in order to seed clouds which cause rainfall. The highly classified program attempted to extend the monsoon season over specific areas of the Ho Chi Minh Trail in order to disrupt North Vietnamese military supplies by softening road surfaces and causing landslides. The former US Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, was aware there might be objections raised by the international scientific community, but said in a memo to the President that such objections had not in the past been a basis of prevention of military activities considered to be in the interest of US national security. The chemical weather modification program was conducted from Thailand over Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and allegedly sponsored by Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. There's that man again, the one who, like, the Italian press, when he was doing a state visit, say, lock up your sons and daughters, notorious pederast paedophile Henry Kissinger is visiting Italy on state business.
Allegedly.
Well, I say allegedly. That's what the Italian papers said. So, um, they're the ones making the accusations, allegedly. Yeah.
Most
So,
evil man alive, Alphabet Cat says.
I thought that was Alistair. Oh, yeah, alive. Yeah, yeah. Alistair Crowley's dead.
I thought it was Chop Catch.
Chop Catch. Now, if you want to follow Chop Catch on Twitter, he's now going by the name Tomcat. That is the real one. Everyone else is just a pretender trying to impersonate him. So anyway, Henry Kissinger and the CIA so it was allegedly sponsored by Henry Kissinger and the CIA without the authorization of the then Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird, who categorically denied to Congress that a program for modification of the wear for use as a tactical weapon even existed. And they're always doing that. It's like, but we can literally see you using it. Like you've got holding the gun in your hand and smoke's coming out of the barrel. Well, you can't prove it was me what done it. So, a report titled "Rainmaking in Caesia outlines the use of lead iodide and silver iodide deployed in aircraft in the program as developed in California Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, and tested in Okinawa, Guam, the Philippines, Texas, and Florida in a hurricane study program called Project Storm Fury. Project Popeye was the experiment in increased rainfall through cloud seeding leading up to Operation Popeye. So Project Popeye led to Operation Popeye. All right. The technical aspects of the experiment were verified by Dr. Donald F. Hornig, who definitely wasn't borrowed from the Germans. Donald Frederick Hornig was an American chemist, explosive experts. Don't know. Special Assistant to the President of the United States of the science said during October 1966, Project Popeye was tested in a strip of the Laos Panhandle east of the Bolovans Plateau in the Sekong River Valley. The government of Laos was not informed of the project, its methods, or its goals. The test was conducted by personnel from Naval Ordnance Test Station located at China Lake, California. Results of the specific experiment are unknown, but other less surreptitious cloud seeding tests have been conducted. Operation Popeye's goal was to increase rainfall in carefully selected areas to deny the Vietnamese enemy. So, yeah, we've been over this bit before. Softening road surfaces, causing landslides, washing out river crossings, maintaining saturated soil conditions beyond normal time span. Implementation. The 54th Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, so I assume there was another 53 Weather Reconnaissance Squadrons in order to have a 54th. It carried out the operation using the slogan, "Make mud, not war," starting on the 20th of March 1967 and continuing through every rainy season in Southeast Asia until 1972. Operation Cloud Seeding missions were flown. Operational cloud seeding missions were flown, sorry. 3 C-130 Hercules aircraft and 2 F-4C Phantom aircraft based at Udon Thani Royal Thai Air Force Base. Oh, I think I've had that before. It's quite spicy. They flew 2 sorties per day. The aircraft were officially on weather reconnaissance missions, and the aircraft crews, as part of their normal duty, also generated weather report data. The crews, all from the 54th Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, were rotated into the operation on a regular basis from Guam. Inside the squadron, the rainmaking operations were codenamed Motorpool. The initial area of operations was the eastern half of the Laotian Panhandle on the 11th of July 1967. Wow, that's actually following normally I have to correct because they used the American one. But yeah, on the 11th of July 1967, the operational area was increased northward to around the area of the 20th parallel and included portions of far western northern Vietnam. In September 1967, a shell valley in South Vietnam was added to operational area. So yeah, it just goes on to say, and this date this happened, and this date this happened, and this date this happened. Reporter Jack Hansen published the story in March 1971 concerning Operation Popeye. In his column, it was called Intermediary Compatriot. The name Operation Popeye entered the public space for a brief mention in the Pentagon Papers. And in the 3rd of July 1972, article in the New York Times Operations in Laos ceased 2 days after the publication of the Times article. The press stories led to demands from members of the US Congress, led by Senator Claiborne Powell. Weird name. For more information, the US House and Senate resolutions in favor of banning environmental warfare passed as Senate Resolution 71 on the 11th of July 1973, House Resolution 116 in 1974, House Resolution 329 of 1974, and House Resolution 20 in 1975. So there you go. They definitely haven't been doing weather modification, especially on their own soil, since then, because they banned it. So that's it. It happened in the past. Definitely hasn't happened in the future, like in the was it the 2012 Olympics?
It's totally not still going on.
Like the Olympics had. Sorry, I'm moving some files, and it says this destination has 3 files with the same names. Let's have a look at this. Oh, desktop INI files. Just continue then. Don't need those. Yeah. When was the Chinese Olympics? Chinese Olympics. Chinese Olympics. Cloud seeding. So I remember this because I actually watched it for some reason. And there was this thing about the women's cycling event, and a Welsh lady got the gold medal because it was torrential downpour, and she says, "Oh, it's just like training back at home because it's wet all the time." So this was published in 2008, and it says the headline is "China plans to halt rain for Olympics." This is Los Angeles Times. Let's put this into the thing. I'll just put it in doodling pad. It is yet another attempt by man to triumph over nature. Determined not to let anything spoil their party, organisers of the 2008 Summer Olympics said Wednesday that they will take control of the most unpredictable element of all, the weather. While China's Olympic athletes are getting ready to compete on the field, its meteorologists are working the skies, attempting the difficult feat of making sure it doesn't rain on the 8th of August opening ceremonies. Our team is trained, our preparations are complete, declared Wang Jiangji, a spokeswoman from the Beijing Meteorological Bureau, addressing a news conference at the headquarters of the Beijing Organizing Committee. The Chinese are among the world's leaders in what is called weather modification, but they have more experience in creating rain than preventing it. In fact, the techniques are virtually the same. Cloud seeding is a relatively well-known practice that involves shooting various substances into clouds, such as silver iodide, salts, and dry ice, that bring on the formation of larger raindrops, triggering a downpour. But Chinese scientists believe they have perfected the technique that reduces the size of the raindrops, delaying the rain until the clouds move on. The weather modification would be used only on a small area, opening what would be in effect a meteorological umbrella over the 91,000-seat Olympic Stadium. The $400 million stadium, nicknamed the Bird's Nest for its interlacing steel beams, has no roof. This is really very complex process in terms of selecting a place and time, said Wang Yubin, an engineer from the Meteorological Bureau. Probably we will have to decide one day before or very close to the event. Except it didn't really work, did it? Because it resulted in torrential downpours. Oopsie. Jeff Ruffalo, a public relations advisor to the Beijing Olympics, believes this is a first for the Summer Olympics, which in recent years have taken place in drier cities like Athens, Sydney, and Barcelona. Summer is the rainy season in Northeast Asia. Beijing Olympics were to open on the 20th of July. Meteorologists said they'd be pushed back as late as possible. Chance of rain in Beijing on the 8th were close to 50%. Training Olympics in mind, meteorologists have been practicing their rain mitigation techniques since 2006. They've had a couple of dry runs, so to speak, a China-Africa summit, and a panda festival in Sichuan province, among others. The Chinese have been tinkering with the weather since the late 1950s, trying to bring rain to the desert terrain of the northern provinces. The Bureau of Weather Modification was established in the 1980s and is now believed to be the largest in the world. It was a reserve army of 37,000 people, most of them sort of weekend warriors who are called to duty during unusual droughts. The Bureau has 30 aircraft, 4,000 rocket launchers, and 7,000 anti-aircraft guns. Said Wang Guohe, director of... Yeah, we need flat cannons to attack clouds occasionally.
Wank who?
His name is Wang Guohe.
Wank who?
Wang Guohe. He's director of weather modification for the Chinese Academy of Meteorology. We have the largest program in world, with most people are involved and most important equipment. But it's not really the most advanced, Wang said. That honor belongs to the Russians, who say he used sophisticated cloud seeding in 1986 to prevent radioactive rain from the Chernobyl reactor accident from reaching Moscow. Although many scientists dispute the effectiveness of weather modification.
Call it Moscow.
Oh yeah, they do because, yeah, but you know they also say it as, oh, I've been to England. That's part of London. So when it comes to geopolitics and Americans, I ignore them.
Which is quite wise to do.
Although many scientists dispute the effectiveness of weather modification, they're dumb fucking idiots who clearly haven't read history and like it goes on and stuff. If you're talking about small rainfall, you can eliminate it, Rang said. But if it's going to be raining cats and dogs, you'll best get walkout. That's really good.
You want go cat and dog?
You'll if it rains cat and dog, then you go eat them. You put garlic on it. It tastes real nice.
Oh, nice! I've hit 700 subs apparently.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're only 18 minutes in, so it's too late. It's too early to say gamer words yet because I'll be celebrating later on with that. So, you know, there's two historical precedents that come to mind of weather modification, but then you're thinking, well, it happens in shithole countries. Nobody really cares about them. I mean, you flood out a few Vietnamese and Chinese. I mean, they breed like rats. But it would never happen in our world, would it? I mean, England is just naturally covered in clouds all the time. Well, let me just have a look. Right? MOD, cadmium spraying, atmosphere, declassified. Let's see if that brings it up. Oh, no, that's not quite. MOD test of aerial spraying over Norwich. So this is from a website called nr23.net from deep in the Golden Triangle of Norwich. Interesting website name. The penetration of built-up areas by aerosols at night, Porton Down public area biological warfare experiments on Norwich. Now, well, this isn't quite weather warfare, but I'll read it because it sounds interesting. This was a Ministry of Defence carried out in the city of Norwich on the 13th of January, February the 10th, March 16th, and April 14th in 1964. These are PDF documents which claim to have been declassified in 2000 and describe an experiment by the Ministry of Defence where the city of Norwich was sprayed by aircraft with a substance known as silicon-treated PFP, which claimed to be innocuous in the concentration which was expected to occur in the ground. These documents outline the nature of the experiment and involvement of local police in it. During May 1963, the War Office Chief Scientist, because Ministry of Defence used to be known as the War Office back when things were more honest, Chief Scientist sent a memo to the Secretary of State explaining the type of public air experiments that would be conducted in the UK by Porton Down. As can be seen in the covering letter, the experiments were conducted by a high level of secrecy because knowledge of them by unauthorised persons could be politically embarrassing. What, that you're doing biological warfare on your own population in Norwich? And now we have the consequence of that with the web feet and the people from Norwich aren't exactly known for their intelligence, are they? The question is, was that before or after they were experimented on by Porton Down Biological Warfare Laboratories? So there's a bunch of PDFs to download. Oh, let's click on the 1959 one. So, Porton Down, number 118, 30th of January 1961, the long-distance travel of particulate clouds, Program 10/58, carried out on the 18th of August 1959. This reports a continuing field trial investigating the feasibility of engaging a specified target area of 10 to the 4 square miles. So 10 to the 4 square miles, what is that? 10 to the 4 square miles. A line source of FP, US Radium Corp 2267, lot H206, magnesol treated, was disseminated from a Valletta aircraft. I've never heard of a Valletta aircraft. Flying from a point off Cromber? It's got a little blotch over the word Cromber. So it might be Krona or Kronla. Anyway, southwest to the Straits of Dover, and then westwards to close inshore to a point south of Swanage. Some 279 pounds of FP, equivalent to 0.93 pounds per mile, were used. Sampling was at 63 stations and an Anson aircraft. Anson aircraft. A large area of England and Wales was covered. Oh, are these dates? No, these look like minutes. Porton note number 203, 1961, large air carriage by aerosol clouds generated at sea. Okay. This note covers program number 659, refers to the FP trial conducted from the 7th to the 10th of November 1959, and report an earlier important note number 146, QV, whatever QV means. The detail on the FP omitted from the note are essentially that was the US Radium Corp product type 2267, lots H239 and H24, silicon treated as Nanskook? Silicon treated as Nanskook. This later note provides detail on samples not included in the earlier note in its appendix. Details on the preliminary trial conducted with HMS Grafton on the 7th of October 1959, wherein 25 pounds of FP, and it's got the lot number for the US Radium Corp, silicon treated as Nanskook was used. The ship was located near to a point 80 miles south of Portland Bill. Mobile sampling teams were located in Devon and Dorset and recorded FP 80 miles north of the source during this preliminary trial. The note is photographs of the disseminating equipment. I'm in the room on Discord but can't seem to join. That's because we're in the other room.
Oh, right. Shall we hop over?
Fortean? Yeah.
Right. So, right. Here we are in the right room. Here we are. We're back.
Yeah. Right. So far, what I've established there is hello.
Evening.
What has been established is that weather modification, weather warfare, it does go on, and it's sprayed from aircraft and it's sprayed from ships, and they seem to be quite happy spraying God knows what. You'll never know. But I would suggest that a large amount of what they're spraying would be aluminium because it's cheap and it's relatively lightweight. So if you're making aluminium oxide, that can stay in the atmosphere for a period of time. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, as we said in the first minute of the show, to terraform the planet so that demons can run amok and so that people are more conductive to the 5G zombie mind control virus, so that when they start beaming things out, they'll all be conductive and, download the programming quickly. But, cadmium poisoning. Cadmium, Wikipedia article, does it mention anything about the spraying that was done in England? No, it just talks about cadmium poisoning without examples. But why would they want to do this? Well, geoengineering is one of the terms. Geoengineering. If I type in geoengineering, let's see if I could get some stuff. geoengineering.ox.ac.uk, Oxford Geoengineering Programme. And this is from the Oxford Martin School. Ah, isn't this nice? So this is from the Oxford School of Weather Warfare. What is geoengineering? Geoengineering, oh, hang on, let's do this in my Brian Cox voice. Geoengineering is the deliberate, large scale intervention in the Earth's natural systems to counteract climate change. There is a wide range of proposed engineering techniques. Generally, these can be grouped into two categories: solar radiation management, or SRM, or solar geoengineering. SRM techniques are amazing. They aim to reflect a small portion of the sun's energy back into space, just a small amount, not to make it completely fucking overcast all the time, counteracting the temperature rise caused by increased levels of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which absorb energy and raise temperatures. I really am opposed to the term greenhouse gas because, for fuck's sake, I know what a greenhouse is, and I know what the atmospheric models are, and we're not living in a fucking greenhouse. It's one of those bullshit terms like, what's the other one which they go on about?
It's raining men.
Or it's raining cats and
by the
dogs.
Weather Girls.
Fossil fuels. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, because it's dino bones. You're running on Flintstones juice. Solar radiation management. That's it. Some proposed. Oh, these are just proposed techniques. They're not actually being done. Albedo enhancement, increasing the reflectiveness of clouds or the land surface that more of the sun's heat is reflected back into space, i.e. by spraying clouds full of aluminium chaff because aluminium's cheap, certainly cheaper than silver iodide. It's not as poisonous as cadmium, and it's light, so it will stay afloat for quite some time. Space reflectors, blocking out a small portion. They all say a small portion. There's so much of this language is like it's not neutral. This is not scientific. This is propaganda. Blocking
innuendo as well.
Yeah,
It's double entendre language as well. He's got a small portion.
That's it. Just blocking out a small portion of sunlight. Only a small portion. It's only chopping off the tip of the sunlight before it reaches the Earth. And stratospheric aerosols, introducing small reflective particles into the upper atmosphere to reflect some sunlight, not all of it, before it reaches the surface of the Earth. And then they talk about greenhouse gas removal or carbon geoengineering. So, planting trees, biochar, which is like you make charcoal and you bury it. Bioenergy with carbon capture and sequestration. So, growing biomass, burning it to create energy, and capturing and sequestering the carbon dioxide created in the process. Ambient air capture, building large machines that can remove carbon dioxide directly from the ambient air and store it elsewhere. Ocean fertilization, adding nutrients to the ocean in selected occasions to increase primary production, which draws down carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Enhanced weathering, exposing large quantities of minerals that react with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and storing the resulting compound in the ocean or soil. So literally just digging up used car batteries, exposing them to the air, and then dumping them into the ocean. And then we have ocean alkalinity enhancement, grinding up, dispersing, and dissolving rocks such as limestone, silicates, or calcium hydroxide in the ocean to increase its ability to store carbon and directly ameliorate ocean acidification. Yeah, so a whole bunch of propaganda and they do actually have a diagram here. Let's see if I can copy that. Copy image, paste it into general and Fortean words. No, that's just pasting a link. Copy image. Paste. For fuck's sake, I said copy the image, you dickhead. No, it's not going to do it. It's not having it. Anyway,
describe the diagram.
So the diagram is what I've been saying recently. It's got like I even click on the picture and it goes away. You've got a picture of the sea, and you've got like a boat, and it's spewing out chemtrails from into the atmosphere. You've got planes spraying out chemtrails, except chemtrails don't exist. It's just water they vapor trails. That's right. And then they talk about putting mirrors into space to do what Monty Burns did in that episode of The Simpsons when he was going to block out the sun from Springfield. So they'd all have to put them in. And Dom says, "Have you ever had them cadmium cream eggs?" Yeah, yeah. So, can I number 79 with egg fried rice? No chinky coof, though. Already had that, thanks. Yes. Oh, that was when I was referring to the Porton Down experiments. So, it probably is worth talking about what's the difference between a chemtrail and a condensation or contrail. Well, for a start, you just look at them. A contrail you'll see on the tips of the wings, and it usually dissipates after a few seconds. A chemtrail is big long plumes, and they stay there hours after the plane has passed, and then they leave a haze in the atmosphere afterwards. They're not all the same like that, mind you, because not all planes are going up there doing the same thing. They're doing different experiments. They're always doing these experiments.
They like experimenting on us, don't they?
Yeah. Well, just spraying people radium, cadmium, diseases, spraying the people of Norwich with diseases, putting fluoride into the water of Birmingham's because Brummies, are just Brummies.
Emptying the contents of the chemical toilet.
Yeah, and it's like, hang on, wasn't there something about informed consent, which just they seem to like, oh, it's really important to get informed consent, except when it doesn't suit them.
Yeah. Well, my body, my choice didn't extend to the vax, did it?
No, it didn't. So, I'm actually pretty much. No, contrails, chemtrails, contrails. Yeah, they leave the chemtrails leave a big, long, persistent trail in the sky. The contrails don't, and then you get like arguments against them, like, oh well, why is it? No, that's it. Yeah. Those chemtrails just stay up in the sky because it's a cold day, and when it's a cold day, then they don't evaporate. But I don't know about you, but commercial aircraft, they go anywhere from 35,000 to 40,000 feet. And because they've got thermometers, or at least the cabin information always says it, I'm not sure why, but they say outside air temperature minus 50 degrees. And it doesn't matter whether you're going over the Sahara Desert or Antarctica, it's like when you're at that altitude, the temperature's minus 50 degrees. So it's always minus 50 degrees in the stratosphere where the aircraft are going, which means it's 50 degrees below zero, which means that if it was condensation, then it would always be there because it's always below freezing, always causing the condensation. However, there are times when you can see the planes turning the trails on and off. So what am I supposed to believe from that? It's just like, oh, they turned their engines off. Is that why they're doing it? At what point would a commercial aircraft go, yeah, we're just going to turn the engines off now, and we'll descend like 10,000 feet and then we'll turn them back on again, because that'll be really fun for the passengers, and that won't burn up a load of fuel trying to get back up to the altitude. Or maybe there's pockets of really hot air. Yeah, there's pockets of.
Gobbit?
Where the condensation wouldn't form. No, it's a load of bollocks. It's absolute bullshit. It's not. It's much easier to, and it's also more correct to say the reason that those trails turn on and off again is because. Well, why would that be? So you're going up there.
Maybe there's an alien creature on the wing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
like on the
that's what
like on the Twilight Zone.
you can't dismiss Gremlins, but it could
Mm.
just be a case of like the
Only
text
William
wrote.
Shatner can see.
Was it William Shatner in it?
In the original, but
Or
in the
John
film it
Lithgow.
was John Lithgow. But
Oh, that's
William,
I've seen the one with Jonathan Lithgow, but I always thought it was Lithgow. But I've not seen the William Shatner one because there's a very young William Shatner, and it's not fortune cookies. They're in a diner with his missus, and like you put in a 1 cent, and it will give you like an advice slip, and they're incredibly accurate. So he keeps feeding it like more and more, and the more he does it, the worse the messages become. And it's just like that's a very young William Shatner. But yeah, the reason why the trails would turn on and off is, frankly, I just think it's just to rub their noses in it. It could be, oh well, one tank's run out, so now they got to put in another tank, or maybe like the valves have gummed up, so somebody's actually like a technician's got to go there to unstick the valves. But really, it's just a case of nobody really cares. We're just going to do this stuff. LOL. What are you going to do about it anyway? But let's have a look. Let's have a look more about like chem. I'm going to type in the term chemtrail ship and see if anything comes up, or if I just get told I'm oh, fact check. Old military video is not proof of chemtrails. This is from Reuters. Confusion over context on old military videos has resulted in social media users falsely suggesting it reveals proof of a previously debunked conspiracy theory. The video was uploaded to Facebook on the 20th of April by a user who repeatedly shared misinformation in the past. Here and here. Let's have a look at these. Oh, you got to log into Facebook. I can't do it then. It shows grainy footage of an aircraft flying across a stretch of water, leaving behind a long, large white plume of smoke. This plume falls to the water to create a wall of smoke in front of a nearby ship. Of course, it's just a conspiracy, the user writes in the caption. Comments underneath reveal that the user's followers believe the video to show chemtrails. They do this shit today, it's called weather control, writes one person. Same shit that comes out of NASA rockets when being launched. Anytime NASA launches a rocket to space, you'll notice somewhere we have extreme weather. Chemtrails and rocket launchers mess with the weather. They're probably right about that. I seem to remember there was what if I can find the video? Because that's a very because in the debunking they kind of admit it. What if I can find it? NASA rocket causes clouds. This was it was Jeremy Clarkson. That's it. So
maybe
it's
it'll spew up. Maybe it'll spew up the space shuttle blowing up in '86. When you needed another 7 astronauts.
That's what NASA stands for. Yeah. So here it is. This I don't think this is the one with Jeremy Clarkson, but it's called the RS-25 flight engine for the Space Launch System. So this is a new vehicle, but now I don't know what fuel they use, but I know one of the fuels they use is called hydrazine. And one of the waste products of hydrazine is water vapor. So amongst the various chems in this chemtrail is water. Water is a chemical, just like anything else is a chemical. Yeah. So anyway, let's go back to this Reuters debunking. Same shit that comes out in NASA rockets. Another adds, were they chemtrailing humanity even back then? Well, at least since 1959, according to the Ministry of War. Chemtrails refers to an old, debunked conspiracy theory that says governments or other parties are engaged in a secret program to hide toxic chemicals to the atmosphere from aircraft in a way that forms visible
Hobbit, you
plumes in the
conspiracy
sky.
theorist, you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've just been told I'm wrong by Reuters. So the stuff about Operation Popeye, the Chinese Meteorological Bureau, the Porton Down Ministry of War experiments.
If you want to know about the
Norwich.
Chinese, just ask Nancy Pelosi. She's got a Chinese Secret Service driver, hasn't she?
Yeah, it's funny that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to how this is a debunked conspiracy theory. So that says governments or other parties are engaged in a secret program to add toxic chemicals to the atmosphere from aircraft. I said that bit. Meanwhile, the Facebook video, filmed in 1923, actually shows an aircraft creating a smoke curtain during the United States military operations to sink its USS New Jersey and USS Virginia. The two battleships are said to have been due for destruction due to disarmament agreement at the end of the First World War. So there is a video of this, and it's paid for news, so I think you can get away with showing it. So there's the video if you want to add it. And for those on the radio, on the wireless, aircraft goes in the sky, and it leaves a trail behind it, a trail of smoke, and you can see plumes of smoke sheeting down and just creating a smoke screen. So it's
introducing
it looks like
some adverts
on the
curtain
new
of vapor.
Google Pixel 6.
Yeah, because it's just a Google Chrome thing. Yeah, and that as well.
Video
and,
video begins now. There we go.
You know what? Instead of giving you YouTube links, what I should do instead is give you an Invidious link, so it scrapes out all the bullshit Google puts in things. But there you go, chat. So this is chemtrailing in 1918, except no, it's not, because you're an idiot who believes in conspiracy theories, you dickhead. So let's just go back to the
What's he
thing.
believing in conspiracy theories in this day and age?
Yeah, when they've all been debunked, there's a reason for everything.
Mm.
The role of smoke screens the history of smoke curtains or smoke screens has been well documented as being used as a military tactic to hide troops, weapons, and ships. Other videos show similar operations being I'm watching that video now. The role of smoke screens in combat has been questioned in recent years due to advances in technology, as well as possible concerns about the environmental impact. It turns out when you're being sprayed with noxious substances, that might cause damage to the environment.
Really?
Research yeah.
Look, you're
Research
a
already
crazy conspiracy theorist, I bet.
I know. As is the Ministry of Defence.
Yeah.
Research is already underway to find a more healthy and environmentally friendly outlets. So what, they can use like a giant vaporizer instead. Oh, but wait, no, that actually is true, because the boats which are spraying seawater up into the air, they are vaporizers. They're basically doing giant nebulizers.
Oh, YouTube have detected copyrighted video or audio video.
Right. I see. Yeah. So
I prefer the beef curtains.
Yeah.
Well, you can't really hide a platoon of soldiers behind beef curtains, can you?
I'm not sure. Some of them you can.
Yeah.
Depends how big the beef curtain. So I'm going to cut that short there.
Yeah.
But you've seen the thing anyway.
So the verdict is false. The US military footage was captured in 1923 and shows an aircraft creating a smoke curtain, which is a well-known tactic deployed to collect weapons, troops, and ships. The article was produced by the Reuters fact-check team. Read more about our work to fact-check social media posts here. Yeah, just don't break your hand, pat yourself on the back, mate.
Didn't they fact check? Oh well, I'll best not talk about. The bat that came from the place that caused the thing. Didn't they fact check that was bollocks?
Yes, and it definitely didn't. No diseases have ever come from China ever. Here we go. Here's an article from New Scientist. Chemtrails conspiracy theory gets put to the ultimate test. And they got a photograph of chemtrails being done in the sky. What happened when 77 atmospheric... That's an interesting number. 77 atmospheric scientists, not employed by Brigade 77 at all, I assume, actually look at the claim that aircraft are spewing out mind-controlling chemicals, wonders fill play. Well, that's what the article says. Mind-controlling chemicals. It's almost like... I want to use an analogy here. It's like saying, electronics is just copper wires. You spray copper wires into a printed circuit board and it does everything. You don't ignore... You just ignore all the components it links up to conduct electricity to. So this is by Patrick Pule. I spent a lot of time debunking silly conspiracy claims in my time. NASA faked the moon landings. The main calendar predicted the end of the world in 2012. A mysterious planet named Nibiru would wipe out Earth in 2003. The government created fake snow at Atlanta that would melt or scorch when burned. Do you remember those videos? People getting snow and then lighting it.
No.
Lighting
snow? Do you mean throwing it out of a pan so it turns into ice immediately?
No, there was snow in a place in America, and people thought it was unusual because, like, it was a hot place, doesn't normally get snow. So they were picking up and examining it, and so various people thought, I wonder what happens if you light it. And when they did, they got like scorch marks, and it didn't melt like snow would, and like snow ought to.
Oh, something happened there. Oh, did you know they've found microplastics in the North Pole now?
That's conspiracy theory that's been debunked.
Has it?
Well, I'm just assuming it has. And anything controversial has been debunked.
Well, I actually heard that on the news. So.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, so it's
debunked.
Probably not true then.
Yeah, it's debunked. Yeah, I completely forgot about the snow that doesn't melt when you put a flame under it. So thanks for reminding me about that with Mr. I debunk silly conspiracy theories. So when I say I haven't bothered debunking chemtrails because they're too goofy even for me, you can glean how I really feel about them. This is a bit like the other guy who never responded to me. You remember when it's like, oh, the reason why the mud flood happened, it wasn't a mud flood. It's just everyone around the world in the middle of the 19th century said, we're going to regrade cities because automobiles can't go uphill. That's why. Every city from Timbuktu to Tipperary.
Turkmenistan.
Yeah, even in bumfuck Timbuktu, they were like, yeah, we got to regrade our city and bury things because automobiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the middle of the 19th century when there's like, well, anyway, still, a handful of people are extremely devoted to the idea that the government is spraying us with chemicals from planes. Now, bear in mind, we've established Operation Popeye, the Chinese Olympics, whatever the Ministry of War were doing to people of Norwich and, well, actually all of England. It wasn't just England, Wales, Norwich. Yeah, England and Wales. So, the extremely devoted to the idea of the government spraying us with chemicals from planes, and what you think are simple contrails are actually high doses of mind-altering or climate-altering chemical compounds meant to keep us under control. I mean, come on, wake up, sheeple, sigh. Next heading, just water vapor. In fact, when you see clouds coming from planes, they really are just the product of condensation of water vapor. But why let the facts get in the way of good conspiracy? Still, it's worth trying. That's why scientists from the University of California, Irvine, and the Carnegie Institute got together and researched the topic. They knew they wouldn't convince the conspiracy theorists, but having a solid source of objective science might help inform the public discourse. Given how anti-science so many members of the US Congress can be, I don't think there's any idea too silly for them not to take seriously. They surveyed hundreds of experts in contrails, as well as those who study atmospheric deposition, how various chemicals fall to the ground from the air, presenting them with the evidence provided on various chemtrail websites, mostly in the form of photos of plane trails and analysis of water and soil samples, asking them to evaluate it. No evidence. In the end, 77 scientists reported back, and the results were not terribly surprising. 98.7%, so 76 out of 77, of the scientists said they had encountered no evidence of a secret large-scale atmospheric program. Or as SLAP. Secret large-scale atmospheric program, SLAP. Everything they saw on the conspiracy website showed that what they were seeing was the natural consequences of planes flying around all on their own without government nefariousness. Of course, the first thing you'll notice is one scientist who dissented. In that case, it's hardly a smoking gun. The one participant who answered yes said the evidence that come across was high levels of atmospheric barium in the remote area with standard low soil barium. So, this dissent was promptly airbrushed out of all photographs of Joseph Stalin.
Maybe the chemtrails come from a smoking gun.
In other words, they found some unusually high amounts of barium, which hardly supports the idea of widespread cover-ups of mind control techniques. Why did they keep talking about this mind control stuff? I mean, nobody else is saying this, apart from me right at the beginning. Well, I was being ironic. And it sounds like the scientist in question was simply saying they can't rule SLAP out, which is a very different thing from saying it's real. When I can't find my keys in the morning, I can't rule out that dinosaur ghosts hid them from me. Oh, dinosaur ghosts. Now there's something we should cover. It just seems a tad unlikely. Walk away. The research is actually rather interesting, and I encourage you to read it. But as the authors know, it won't make a dent in the conspiracy theories. The first thing you'll find out when you deal with people like this is that any evidence against them is part of the cover-up. That's what I call a philosophical cul-de-sac. They've removed themselves from any possible evidence and criticism. And at that point, I've learned to just walk away. At least to walk away from them specifically. In some cases, it's worth pursuing the discussion with public because they're liable to hear about it. And a place to find actual facts, approved facts, and debunking is a handy thing to make available. So I'm glad these scientists went to the effort. Even though it may seem silly, conspiracy theorists usually don't make a big splash in real life. Remember, Alex Jones was right. But if they get the ear of a politician, time, money, and effort can indeed be wasted, sometimes on a big scale.
Are they trying to say anyone can get the ear of a politician?
Oh, well, if you've got the nose to hook them in with. Given how anti-science so many members of Congress can be, I don't think there's any idea too silly for them not to take seriously. If Congress critics think Earth is cooling, that it's only 6,000 years old, that vaccines are dangerous, and the existence of snow disproves global warming, then chemtrails don't seem like that much of a stretch, you fucking idiots. Now go away and stop citing historical precedents where the weather was modified, either in times of war or just for the lulz. See Fortean down spraying people since 1959. So, what we've established there is that it went on in the past, but it definitely doesn't happen now. And if you do say it, you're a silly conspiracy theorist, and you should probably go away and re-examine your philosophical cul-de-sac. So what about this? What was that thing about Spain? Was it put in the Fortean Words Telegram chat? Let's have a look. By the way, Terroristagram is a place where terrorists congregate to talk about things like cars and how big...
Saucer says, so you're pro-vax. Yeah,
so
why not?
I'm... You know what? For certain people, I recommend they have as many vaccines as possible and all the boosters, and there's no time like the present, so they should get it all done in one go. Just get as many as possible.
All 18 boosters at once.
What do you mean all 18 boosters? You mean all 360? If you've missed any, you need like adult strength boosters as well. So I'm definitely pro-vax. There's a lot of people which I think would benefit from a vaccine. If Amber Heard had a vaccine that stopped her shitting in bed, she could have like benefited. So where is the thing what I or somebody else posted in the Fortean chat? Here we go. So this is all historical stuff. It all happened in the past. It's definitely not going on now. So Iberian Voice. This was in 2021. 10th 13. So 2021, 10th month is November, and the 13th day. The Spanish Meteorological Agency has confessed that Spain is being sprayed with lead dioxide, silver iodide, and diatomite. So, that's just a that's actually shared by Rob Schneider.
Yeah, that's why I said to put it up.
Derp. Yeah.
Derp himself.
The Spanish oh, hang on, I can't spell Spanish. Apparently you miss out the I. The Spanish Meteorological Agency has confessed that Spain. If I put in that, surely it'll come up with a headline. Yeah. So, oh, this looks like a debunking website. Principia Scientific International. Workers at Spain's Meteorological Agency confessed to spraying chemtrails. I'll just post that up in the general. 4 workers from the State Meteorological Agency confessed. Now, here's the thing, right? So when I'm talking about the Chinese thing, it's no confession, it's no leaking government secrets. It's like, yeah, we use chemtrails to cause cloud seeding and to modify the weather. We've been doing it since the 1950s. And they were doing it in 2008. But, well, 2008's ancient history. That was like 14 years ago. My God. It was 14 years ago. Wow. 4 workers, confessed planes are spraying lead dioxide, silver iodide, and diatomite. What is diatomite? Let me just go on a little rabbit trail with that. Diatomite, non-Latin diatoma, refers to any member of a large group comprising several genera of algae. So they've been spraying algae into... Oh, right, diatoms, yeah, they're the little silica things. So they're spraying, like, algae corpses. That Spain was the first Western government to officially include the word chemtrail in its official gazettes. The Spanish Ministry of Health authorized the NBC, nuclear, biological, and chemical units of the armed forces, also the UME, to use biocides from the air. A month after the state of alarm was imposed, the executive justified in the BOE, I'm not sure what the BOE is, that this technique is one of the most effective against the coronavirus, since with nebulization, thermal fogging, and micronebulization techniques, all surfaces with speed. What? They're spraying people with speed? Let me just read that again, because I think some might be lost in translation here. The executive justified in the BOE, whatever a BOE is, that this technique is one of the most effective against the coronavirus, since with nebulization, thermal fogging, and micronebulization techniques, all surfaces with speed. The executive also justified the aforementioned units have the personal means, materials, procedures, and sufficient training to carry out air disinfection, since they are operations that they carry out regularly, with the exception that instead of using biocidal products, they do so with other decontaminating chemicals. On the 19th of May 2015, MEP Ramon Tremosa y Bieliledes, or Aldi, announced that it's literally ALDE, Aldi, announced that in the European Parliament that 4 workers from the State Meteorological Agency have confessed that Spain is being sprayed entirely from planes that spread lead dioxide through the atmosphere, silver iodide, and diatomite. The objective, according to the same MEP, will be to ward off the rains and allow temperatures to rise, which creates a summary climatic environment for tourism and, at the same time, helps corporations in the agricultural sector. This, in turn, is producing cold drops of great intensity. The region of Murcia, the Valencian community, and the province of Almeria are being the most affected, to the point that not a drop of rainwater falls in more than 7 months. Catastrophic cold drops are generated, and they have caused respiratory diseases to the population by inhaling lead dioxide and other toxic compounds. Well, hang on, mate. We just read another thing say that this is a spinny conspiracy theory, and you're in a psychological cul-de-sac. And you're a Congress critter who's an idiot. And dinosaur ghosts. So, yeah. The San Yavier military airport in Murcia is being used for takeoff for these planes. The original Spanish article is here, alertdigital.com. Should I also ask the European Union Commission to take the position on the matter? Chemtrails are chemostelae or chemtrails that can be seen in the sky. Many people believe these long-lasting contrails left by airplanes. Oh my God, this is getting it wrong. Even the New Scientist article established that contrails is condensation trails and that chemtrails are something else. They're two separate things. So anyway, contrails left by airplanes at high altitudes are actually chemtrails consisting of chemical or biological agents sprayed by airplanes for undisclosed purposes to citizens. The purpose of the chemical release could be a solar radiation management, weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, or biological or chemical warfare. The stelae are also claimed to cause respiratory illnesses and other health problems. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure breathing in lead is not going to be conducive to one's health.
And smoking as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to actually just say completely unfounded conspiracy theory here. I reckon the push to stop people smoking is to make them unhealthy and susceptible to respiratory diseases. Because I've noticed that not just anecdotally, but from other reports and also from the CDC and the French Health Service, that smokers and ex-smokers are less likely to get respiratory diseases, and if they do get them, the symptoms are less severe, and that includes the latest respiratory disease, which is, the chinky cough.
That's true, because I did smoke and I didn't get the COVID, and then I stopped smoking. I did get it. And even though I was triple jabbed as well. So yeah, I think there could be something in that. But obviously you get cancer instead, don't you? So that's the other side of the coin.
That's the
Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
What if the cancer and all the things in it are actually caused by the filters they put in the cigarettes?
Yeah.
So what if the radioactive particles?
But Monty Python legend Graham Chapman, he smoked a pipe, so he got cancer from that. So 48 he was when he did. Yeah. So that's unfiltered. So, and also ganja as well, isn't it? But I don't think anyone's died from smoking ganja.
Well, Tommy Chong is trying, but he's failed so far.
Yeah. So.
Yep. And well, I've gone through an hour of this stuff, and I still haven't found anything about the boats what spray up into the sky. So what if I try a different search term? What if I say, in fact, let's not use this search engine. Let's use another one.
What about when it rains frogs?
Stratos. We did that in another.
Done that one.
Yeah, we did unusual things coming from the sky. Stratospheric. Climate remediation ships spraying water vapor into the sky. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Cloud spraying and hurricane slaying. This is from The Guardian. So, this is weird. Normally I get a whole bunch of interruptions from Hemi at this point. You're enjoying the content.
Yeah, I just thought I'd let you take over. Have a Hobbit takeover.
Tom Green has a plan to tackle climate change. Is that Tom Green from Freddy?
Don't you?
From Freddy Got Fingered, who jerked off a horse, masturbated it on film. So
it's okay for Tom Green to hump a dead moose.
It's okay for Tom Green to be. What is it with he's a comedian? It's like he just does disgusting shit. Like I was reading about Adam Sandler doing a stand-up, which is about his mum was a prostitute and was having sex with everyone in the bar.
The Queen's vagina is haunted.
Yep. That was a famous Adam Sandler joke,
right.
which Frankie Boyle stole. Tom Green has a plan to tackle climate change. He's going to jerk off a horse and make it come into the sky. The British biologist, no, the Canadian comedian and director of the charity Project Vesta wants to turn 1 trillion tons of CO2 into rock and sink it to the bottom of the sea. Gay, this isn't what I'm talking about. This isn't the thing. We've already done that bit. Ship sprayed seawater cloud making version 2. What's up with that? Okay, so ship sprayed seawater cloud making version 2. It's an interesting 3D mock-up. Artist's conception of cloud-making ships. Of course, the first storm would flip this over immediately, but it's only a fantasy, so who cares? And there's a source. From the University of Washington and the Royal Society. Experiment would test cloud geoengineering as a way to slow warming. Even though it sounds like science fiction, researchers are taking a second look at a controversial idea that uses futuristic ships to shoot saltwater seashores at the seashell into the sky over the oceans, creating clouds that reflect sunlight and thus counter global warming. University of Washington atmospheric physicist Rob Wood describes a possible way to run an experiment to test the concept on a small scale in a comprehensive paper published this month in the journal Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society. Interesting journal name, Philosophical Transaction. How do you transact in philosophy? The point of the paper, which includes updates on the latest study into what kind of ship would be best to spray salt water into the sky, how large the water droplets should be, and the potential climatological impacts, is to encourage more scientists to consider the idea of the marine cloud brightening and even poke holes in it. He and a colleague detail an experiment to test the concept. What we're trying to do is to make the case that this is a beneficial experiment to do, like the time I masturbated a horse and Freddy got fingered. With enough interest in cloud brightening from the scientific community, funding for an experiment may become possible, he said. The theory behind so-called marine cloud brightening is that adding particles, in this case sea salt, to the sky over the ocean will form large, long-lived clouds. Clouds appear when water forms around particles. Since there's limited amount of water in the air, adding more particles creates more, but smaller, droplets. It turns out that a great number of smaller drops is a greater service here, like the time I jerked off a horse and made it spray over my dad, who was played by... Who was the guy who played it? It's not Jack Nicholson, but he kind of looks similar to him. And I've seen him in another film. Was it Anger Management? I had Adam Sandler in it.
Peter Kay was never funny. Remember the past, Peter Kay.
Ah, yeah. No, it was Jack Nicholson in Anger Management. Who's the guy I'm thinking? Oh, you know what? IMDb. It's IMDb time. imdb.com. And then I'm going to search for Freddy Got Fingered 2001.
Not to be confused with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, definitely not to be confused with... Ah, God, I hate Tom Green. So who was the guy that reminds me of? Is it Rip Torn? That sounds like a weird name.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Rip Torn. Rip Torn was born Elmore Ruel Torn Jr. Elmore's okay. And what film? Men in... that's it. He's in Men in Black. And yeah,
I've not seen Men in Black. Isn't it shit though?
it is. But mind you, anything with Will Smith is shit. I hated him in that Isaac Asimov film. Oh yeah. So anyway, back to this thing. Sorry, I'm just getting on the Tom Green sidetrack here. Spray water into the sky. Yep. Here do test concept. Long clouds. What? Yeah, we've done that. Great number of small drops. Yeah, we've done that. Marine cloud brightening is part of a broader concept known as geoengineering. We've established that. The New Scientist article from Phil Patel or whatever his name was, that is a debunked conspiracy theory. Geoengineering does not exist, and weather warfare was never done. Operation Popeye, which was declassified, it never happened. Brightening, like other geoengineering proposals, is controversial, for its ethical and political ramifications and the uncertainty around its impact. But those aren't the reasons not to study it, Wood said. I would rather that responsible scientists test the idea than groups watch my 2001 film Freddy Got Fingered. The danger with private organizations experimenting geoengineering is that there is an assumption that it's got to work. Wood and his colleagues proposed trying a small-scale experiment to test blah blah blah. Yeah, you said this bit, but you get additional airplanes to study it. Do you say anything interesting here apart from, oh, this would be a nice experiment? It's definitely not happening on a large scale already. It's just an experiment, bro. It's just a small-scale test study, bro. It's not really happening, bro. In some cases, ship trails make clouds darker. We don't really know why that is, Wood said. Despite increasing interest from scientists like Wood, there's still strong resistance to cloud brightening. It's a quick fix idea, then really what we need to do is move towards a low carbon emission economy, which is turning out to be a long process, Wood said. I think we ought to know about the possibilities just in case. The authors of the paper are treading cautiously. We stress there will be no justification for the deployment of marine cloud brightening unless it was clearly established that no significant consequences would result. There would also need to be an international agreement firmly in favour of such action. So, yeah, it's just speculation. It definitely doesn't happen. And if you've ever looked at a plane in the sky leaving a trail which spreads hours later into a silvery cloud, you're an idiot who believes in dinosaur ghosts, which we're definitely going to have to do an episode on it because it just sounds so cool. Dinosaur ghosts. And why is they dragons?
There could be dinosaur ghosts.
I don't know. I've never seen ghosts of other animals.
Have you seen a ghost in a shell suit?
No. Have you?
No, but we should be seeing ghosts in shell suits, shouldn't we?
Look,
is that the sequel to Ghost in the Shell?
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like this comment here. This, by the way, is from 2012, this article. I have a better idea. Build more coal-fired power plants, or nuclear if you're really concerned about carbon dioxide. Each one of those babies at least a pair of cooling towers that vents water vapour up the wazoo.
Water vapour up the wazoo?
Yeah, it sends water vapour up the wazoo. That's the name for the cooling towers. If you want to brighten marine clouds, we already know how to do that. Steamships burning lots of high sulfur coal.
Nice.
Are
there any dinosaur ghosts in shell suits? Don wants to know.
Maybe we'll see one day, but
wouldn't the power requirements be enormous? Which CO2 spewing fuel would be required to power these ships?
What ships are they?
Oh, well, the ships which don't exist because you're just a conspiracy theorist. Let's see. We're going to use megawatts or gigawatts of energy, which will cause warming, in an attempt to prevent warming. So, yeah, this is the point because 10 years ago, global warming was what people called. They weren't calling it the climate crisis emergency Ebola AIDS back then.
Were calling it nice weather back then, weren't they?
Yeah. I was looking forward to England being as warm as a beaver.
Yeah.
The same folks that insist, these comments are great. This is back when you could have comments on news sites. The same folks that insist we stop using oil, gas, and coal, all those clear and obviously devastating consequences for humanity, now insist we can't do anything else unless it was clearly established that no significant adverse consequences result. Hypocrites. Wow, salty rain. Is this the dopiest idea of the century so far? Yeah, I mean, what would the consequences of raining salt water be? Wait, can I just see if I can find, like, what in the world are they spraying? What in the world are they spraying? Let's see if I can find. So from 2010, there's a documentary called "What in the World Are They Spraying?" And let's see if I can.
And what in the world were they spraying?
So, what in the world were they spraying 12 years ago? Because they do talk about it. That's why I mentioned about aluminium oxide. They just it's a long essay on their website talking about protests that have been happening. It'd just be nice if someone go, right, this is a scraping I've done from these samples, the soils here, and here's a control sample, and here's just like an empty glass flask used to collect rainwater, and this is what it is. So, jet spraying, geowatch radio, tree die-off, runway methane scenario.
Mr.
Runaway.
Methane.
Yeah.
Mr. Methane, remember him?
He's still working, isn't he?
Is it the original Mr. Methane though? Because he wore a mask, did he? I reckon there's been different Mr. Methanes over the years.
Ah, so he's
Yeah.
like anonymous, just behind the mask. You don't know.
Like anonymous, but with farting.
Yeah. Top stories. I'll click on that, see if I can find it. Geoengineering watch. It'd be nice if they had. Oh, excuse me.
Gonna get a pint.
Billboards, atmospheric spraying, other additional factors. Yeah, atmospheric spraying. Let's see that one. Maybe it'll have like some quantitative analysis. What aren't we being told? Is the highly toxic and controversial element graphene being seeded into our skies as part of an ongoing covert climate intervention operations? Well, who the fuck knows? Because, I mean, the Spanish have like come out and said, well, we're definitely being spread with lead, silver, and algae. But we don't know what we're being sprayed with because nobody, it seems, are doing chemical analysis. And this is the thing, because Geoengineering Watch refers to a high altitude atmospheric testing. Now that's more like it. After substantial difficulty and expense, the Geoengineering Watch has utilised two types of aircraft to complete multiple atmospheric particulate sampling flights up to and exceeding 40,000 feet. One of the aircraft we conduct our testing missions is also used by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for their atmospheric testing operations. The Geoengineering Watch team carried out multiple sample gathering flights in the high altitude haze after being emitted by large jet carriers. The lingering, spreading, and sun-blocking jet aircraft trails are not just condensation, as has been told by government sources. The dimming of direct sunlight by aircraft dispersed particles in the form of global warming mitigation known as solar radiation management is ongoing. These global climate engineering operations are causing unquantifiable damage to the planet's life support systems and human health. The 12-minute video below is an insight segment from an under-production groundbreaking blah blah called "The Dimming." So they're doing a documentary which we can't show because fuck the AI system ruining people's fun. All needing the critical balance to weight populations of what's coming must make every day count. Share credible data from a credible source. Make your own voice heard. Blah blah blah. But let's have a look at the credible data. I want numbers. I want graphs. I want like this is what it was before. This is what it is now.
Can we not see the video?
It's 12 minutes long, and it will probably be another content strike. So, unfortunately.
Haven't we had the content strike already? So we got nothing to lose now.
Emmy, do you want to risk it?
No, just on it.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Mind you, there's a photo summary stuff so that we can share photographs. So if I put that link in there,
if you share your screen, I could share your screen and just be lazy. Then you can control what you show.
No dick pics, mind.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So I could do that, but it's
before the watershed.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows what pop-ups I'll get? I'll have to close all the messengers, and look up HARP. There are conspiracies about that fucking with the ionosphere. Yeah, that's the point. HARP was HARP is in part this clouds conspiracy. We should do that as well.
Yeah.
And it was a lager from the 70s, wasn't it? Harp.
Time for a
And it
harp.
wasn't
Time
very-
for a cool sharp
Yeah.
harp. Time for a
Didn't
sharp
see it
exit.
anymore. Skull.
All right, let's briefly look into HARP, and then I want to get to bed because the beer is doing a number on me, and I've got to get up early tomorrow.
I have some content.
Oh yeah,
If you want to rest.
yeah.
Charles Hatfield. This is some oldie worldy stuff. There was a guy called Charles Mallory Hatfield. He was born July 15th, 1875. Died January 12th, 1958. He was an American rainmaker. So I'll read from the Ladybird Book of Paranormal Mysteries because it kind of puts it a bit more succinctly. So, could Charles Hatfield make rain? He certainly appeared to be able to do so. Sometimes his rain-making attempts proved too successful. In 1916, San Diego Council in the USA hired him to fill a new reservoir. Hatfield went out to Morena Reservoir in Laguna Mountains, 60 miles east of San Diego, and set up his equipment. After 3 days, it began to rain. There are a few more showers during the following weeks and some really heavy downpours in January. Hatfield promised even more rain, and it arrived with a vengeance, causing widespread damage and flooding. When Hatfield went to San Diego to collect his fee, the council refused to pay him unless he agreed to pay a bill of $3.5 million for damage. Well, considering this was 1916, that's a fair old wedge, isn't it?
Or did he make those leather straps that you attach to a horse's mouth and pull back? Make that sort of rain. Yeah.
No, he definitely made some rain because he fucked things up, didn't he? In 1922, Hatfield was invited to make rain in Sand Canyon in the California desert. The rain fell so heavily the canyon was completely destroyed, and a 30-mile length of railway line was washed away. After this episode and over 500 other successful rain-making attempts, Charles Hatfield decided to retire. Hatfield was offered large amounts of money to sell the secret of the chemicals he used to create rain, but he always refused. He said it was too devastating a force to unleash on any one individual or to a group of bureaucrats who might misuse it. He decided that his secret formula should die with him, and to this day, no one knows how Hatfield managed to make rain.
Surely, if the price was right, he would have parted with the secret.
Don't know. Well, it seems that he was. It seems that he was fucking. He shouldn't have been allowed to be let loose on it. Hatfield's story and fight. Have you seen the 1956 Burt Lancaster film, The Rainmaker, Ian?
No, I haven't. Not. Is it good? Is it a cowboy film?
No, it says it's about him. It's about Hatfield.
Oh, right. I'm unfamiliar with his work, but continue. Yes.
What else have we got here? So, 1906, he was invited to the Yukon Territory, where he agreed to make rain for the water-dependent mines of the Klondike goldfields. The Klondike contract was for $10,000, but after unsuccessful efforts, Hatfield slipped away, collecting only $1,100 for expenses. This failure did not deter his supporters. So the book doesn't mention his failures.
Yeah.
Why would you want to mention that?
Yeah.
Most of the time when he made rain, it didn't happen. But
in 1915, the San Diego City Council, pressured by the San Diego Wide Awake Improvement Club, not to be confused with the Wide Awake Club, which was Timmy Mallet, approached Hatfield to produce rain to fill the Morena Dam Reservoir. Hatfield offered to produce rain for free, then charge $1,000 per inch, for between 40 and 50 inches, and free again over 50 inches. The council voted 4-1 for the $10,000.
Did a large amount of this rain making happen in sort of April time?
Doesn't say what year. It only says
yeah,
years. It doesn't say months. I don't know. Do the Yanks have rainy season?
I would think so.
In
Maybe
April?
it's not April or there, but I'm sure there's times of year where it pisses down a lot more than others,
Yeah.
and that's when he should be doing his tricks.
Hatfield. So back to the 1916 one again. Hatfield talked to the press on February the 4th. So there you go. That blew you out on that one. So yeah, that was January 1916. The heavy rain. Said the damage was not his fault and the city should have taken adequate precautions. Hatfield had fulfilled the requirements of his contract, filling the reservoir, but the city council refused to pay the money. Unless Hatfield would accept liability for damages, there were already claims worth $3.5 million. However, there was no written contract. What a plonker.
And you can always blame it on act of God anyway.
Well,
So,
in two
there's
trials, the rain was ruled an act of God.
God existed in those days, didn't he?
Yeah. But Hatfield continued the suit until 1938. Fucking hell, he's a trier, isn't he? When two courts decided the rain was an act of God, which absolved him of any wrongdoing, but also meant he did not get his fee.
What a swizz.
Yeah. Fucking hell, I haven't heard that phrase for years, I bet. What a swizz.
Getting swizzled out of his stuff.
It went out with spastic, didn't it?
Among other things, in 1929, he tried to stop a forest fire in Honduras. Later, the Bear Valley Mutual Water Company wanted to fill Big Bear Lake. However, during the Great Depression, he had to return to his work as a sewing machine salesman, and his wife divorced him.
Yeah, I sell sewing machines on the side, make it rain.
Yeah.
Do rain dances.
So there you go, a bit. Let's bore you. You got something else? Oh, let's talk about harp. Oh, it's Snopes. Get Snopes. Let's do Snopes. What Snopes say about harp.
Yeah, that will do, won't it? So, Snopes, harp. Fact check. Did physicist say? Oh, did physicist Michio Kaku? Michio Kaku say harp caused Irma and Harvey. Claim Professor
Harvey.
Yeah, it caused half the price. Professor Michio Kaku said Hurricanes Harvey and Irma were caused by the United States government modifying the weather. The rating is false. On the 9th of September 2017, the website yournewswire.com published an item suggesting theoretical physicist and CBS News contributor Michio Kaku said that the recent hurricanes Harvey and Irma were the results of a government research program that shuttered in 2014. The article titled Top Scientist blah blah blah. World-renowned scientist Michio Kaku says, "Yeah, we done it. HARP caused the hurricanes to do then. You can steer the hurricanes using it, and now HARP's been shut down, except it's got started up again."
Much like they did. Was it? What's the mind control one? MK Ultra.
Oh, I don't know. Oh,
Well,
this website.
They said they shut it down, didn't they? They said it was official.
Oh, right, okay. The Skeptoid has a thing called Harp Myths.
Oh, there's a website. Did you know about harp?
Yeah,
the National I Fucking Love Science Foundation funds creation of research. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HARP, is a scientific endeavour aimed at studying the properties and behaviour of the ionosphere. The ionosphere stretches roughly 50 to 400 miles above the Earth's surface, right at the edge of space. Along with the neutral upper atmosphere, the ionosphere forms the boundary between Earth's lower atmosphere.
Breaking news. MK Ultra is back as JMK Ultra. Oh, and something called Project
Is he sugar-free now then, is he?
I don't know, but there's Project Artichoke, mind control program by CIA.
Yeah, this is what they do. They go, oh yeah, that's definitely a thing. Oh no, we've shut it down. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory, except for the times when, various governments admitted they do it.
Yeah.
Because, global warming. So,
Yeah.
I was waiting for, but I'm willing to talk about Skeptoid, what they got to say about HARP. Let's talk about the claims made about HARP, but first let's talk about what it actually is and what exactly it's really capable of. First of all, there's nothing remotely secret, even classified about HARP. No security clearance is needed to visit and tour the site, and HARP usually holds an open house every summer, during which anyone can see everything there. During the rest of the year, research is conducted. The universities that participate in HARP research include a bunch of names I'm not going to mention. If you look at HARP on Google Earth, you can see there's not much there, and the current view only shows 4 cars in a small parking lot. HARP consists of an observatory and an adjacent 28-acre field with 180 high-frequency antennas, each 70-foot tall, with a maximum transmission power of 3.6 kilowatts. Oh, no, sorry, 3,600 kilowatts, so 3.6 megawatts. That's about 75 times the power of a commercial radio station, but only a tiny fraction of the strength of the natural solar radiation striking the same part of the ionosphere which HARP is aimed. Although the observatory operates continuously, the HF antenna array is activating rarely in specific experiments, which average about once a month. Sadly for conspiracy theorists, HARP has no potential to affect weather. The frequency of energy that HARP transmits cannot be absorbed by the troposphere.
Well, Hobbit,
or
can
the
I tell you
stratosphere.
talking rubbish? Because on the website it says the ionospheric research instrument, a high-power transmitter facility operating in the high-frequency range. The IRI can be the IRI. These people have names and addresses. The IRI
Well,
can
they
be
do.
used to temporarily excite a limited area of the ionosphere for scientific study. That's all they do. It's just scientific study, bro.
Yeah, what the problem is.
Hmm.
That's all it is.
Scientific instruments installed at the HARP Observatory can also be used for a variety of continuing research efforts. So it's just research, bro, which do not involve the use of the IRA, but are strictly passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you
Sort
go.
of
Hobbit.
research.
It's passive.
Sort of research. Sort of research that Pete Townsend did for his book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You might ask, what's the point of HARP? If it's not to wreak global destruction, what good is it? Communication and navigation signals are sent through the atmosphere for a broad range of civil and military purposes. Guided missiles rely on digital transmissions that can be affected or jammed by a whole variety of natural and artificial causes. Global positioning system and encrypted communications all need to be able to make it to their recipients in wartime, regardless of the atmospheric and electromagnetic conditions. Study these effects is the prime reason that DARPA, the US Air Force, and the US Navy contribute to HARP's funding. In addition, by bouncing signals off the ionosphere at an altitude of 100 kilometers, HARP has been able to create extremely low frequency, or ELF, waves as low as 1 Hz, which could potentially be used for worldwide communication, including reaching submarines, although at an almost uselessly slow data rate. But before you conclude that these ELF waves might be used for creating earthquakes, note that the maximum ELF signal amplitude by HARP has been measured at less than 1/10 millionth of Earth's natural background field. Yeah, but it's kind of like saying that the potential energy in a bullet as it travels is insignificant compared to the amount of kinetic energy released by the River Thames. But the thing is, it's that little bullet is a concentrated force going at high speed, whereas the Thames is relatively slow moving, and unless you're very unlucky, you're not going to be blown away by the force of water. So it's a bit annoying when saying, oh, it's not 1/10 millionth of Earth's natural background fields. And I mean, atomic bombs are nothing compared to the output of the sun's solar radiation, but they're still, quite powerful. You don't want to be near one when it explodes. Or maybe you do if you're suicidal. Maybe the nihilist wet dream is to be destroyed by an atomic bomb. Because, you don't believe in anything if you're a nihilist, so why do you continue to live? That you're a mistake. You need to go back to your natural state of not existing. But there's a secondary reason that HARP has been suspected of deeper, darker purposes. And it goes back to its early construction.
Well,
The
you're
winning
just a conspiracy theorist, Hobbit.
I know. The winning contractor to build HARP was Arco Power Technologies, or APTI. Arco historically been one of Alaska's largest employers, and initially set up APTI as a subsidiary to construct power plants using Alaska's vast natural gas reserves. One scientist employed at APTI was Dr. Bernard
Oh, did you know you can
Eastland.
propose HARP experiments on the website?
Oh, okay. How about an experiment to cause like a torrential downpour in Washington D.C. by directing it at clouds? Um, so physicists some know. Although Dr. Eastland's accomplishments was the co-invention of the fusion torch and the original owner of the 1985 US patent on method and apparatus for altering a region of the Earth's atmosphere.
I'll do the HARP FAQs after this, Hobbit, from the website.
Dr. Eastland's method required a location near the poles where the lines of the Earth's magnetic field are more or less perpendicular to the surface, like Alaska, and resumed a natural gas power source. A few years later, the HARP program began. A coincidence? No way, say the conspiracy theorists. What? It doesn't make sense. I mean, like, yeah, you would put HARP somewhere where it could propagate the radio waves in a beneficial way. I think instead of reading more about, because Brian Dunning still hasn't responded to my question about grading. So what if
Gerwin Price hasn't replied to my question yet either, and that was about a year and a half ago.
There's a lot of not answering questions going on around here, isn't there?
Yeah.
I just got some questions, is all. That's all I ever have, is I have questions. I don't claim to have answers, but I do claim to have questions, and it seems me asking questions causes some controversy.
If we had answers, there wouldn't be a Fortean words, would there?
No, having answers is boring. We've got questions.
Yeah.
So the bit at the beginning was boring because it was just a bunch of answers. Oh, there is a book available called Angels Don't Play This Harp, Advances in Tesla Technology. That was published in 1997 by Gene Manning and Nick Begich.
Probably out of print by now.
Yeah, they're selling a paperback for like close to £40. Do unexplained piss trees for the last 20 minutes?
I thought we were going to do I think you wanted to do. Did you want to do the HARP FAQs or? Oh, I'll have a look on the.
Oh yeah.
If
you want to, you read those. I need to AFK for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I need to shit
that much. Oh, okay then. Well, and you can't wait 20 minutes. I'll take it you won't wait. Let's do some unexplained mysteries then, Ian.
Go for it.
Hold on, let me just sort everything out.
But at long last, though, next week we'll do the Loch Ness show, yeah?
Is this your investigation into Loch Ness?
Investigation, my real-time investigation. There's some good stuff there. So I would have liked to have done it this week, but things have cropped up. So
you're not...
I haven't had time to fart lately, but yeah, I'm off next week, so yeah, definitely next Thursday we'll do it. Yeah, get you all the material.
Where are you on Roswell then? Belief in the Roswell crash remains strong 75 years on.
Well, obviously something happened there, but what does it say? What's the latest news on it?
It's not latest news. It's just that that they've done some sort of what have they done? So, according to a recent Fairleigh Dickinson University poll, 34% of Americans from across the political spectrum believe that it was a crashed alien spacecraft, while 12% were less certain, but it still deemed such a possibility to be very likely. 28%, by contrast, thought such an explanation was very unlikely. That's it. That's all. They haven't really.
Well, Bob Lazar still says that he's seen the aliens and all that stuff, doesn't he?
He worked on it, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but then people looked into his background. Obviously, to work on alien propulsion systems and shit like that, you've got to be pretty good. Like, you would have to have a PhD in physics and the like. So people did look into his background, and there was no record of him going to any university.
Can you believe Yuri
or
Geller?
anything.
One, people still listen to Yuri Geller, and two, that he's still alive. He's looking well, though, isn't he?
He does. He must be about 80 now, because he was. Yeah, I do like to listen to him, but you've got to take it with a pinch of
Win,
salt.
Reading, win. Do you remember that? Do you remember that documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is where I live, actually. But he must live near here.
I don't know. I think he just gets all over the place.
I've got an interesting Reading resident, which I shall uncover next week, which I will show you. I'll save it though for next week's program.
The first line's just classic. The Israeli spoonbender, like that's all he is, Mr. Spoonbender. But he can only bend his own spoons, can't he? Ian?
Exactly.
Isn't it you that tells that story?
And he can't do it when there's when under laboratory
when
conditions.
People are watching. Once he get a bit of stage fright, does he?
Yeah.
Bob Lazar changed his name to Buzz Lightyear. You looking forward to the Lightyear movie?
I'm unaware of it. Are they making one? I'm not
it's
really
called
up on the
Lightyear,
subject.
and it's actually about. It's not about Buzz Lightyear the toy. It's about Buzz Lightyear.
Ah, right. So they're making it into a real
character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a miss. I'm just waiting for Halloween 3 to come out. That's
Look at all these. Yuri Geller says he knows where the Ark of the Covenant is. Yuri Geller claims he saw aliens at NASA. Yuri Geller apologizes for Pokemon lawsuit. Yuri Geller, mind power, moved Suez Canal ship. Yuri Geller, aliens are preparing to make contact with us. Haven't they been preparing to make contact with us since the Roswell crash?
I remember he was on Through the Keyhole. So
did he know it was?
No, but it was quite a nice house. But
it was his house, was it?
Oh yeah, he was on there. Yeah, so
what else? Astronomers pick up a mysterious radio signal from an unknown source. Wow, that's conclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, anything more to that? Anything more?
The mystery signal, which was detected during observations of a spiral galaxy known as NGC 2082, was reported by a team of astronomers headed up by Joel Balzan of Western Sydney University. Oh, excuse me. It manifested as a strong point radio source in data from the Australian Square Kilometre Array Pathfinder. Fucking hell, can they sort these names out? The ASCAP. And the Australia Telescope Compact Array. And the Parkes Radio Telescope. See, that's better, the Parkes Radio Telescope. That's the sort of name you want. The Galaxy...
Aren't they too busy having Barbies and looking at Sheilas to
probably
do science in Australia?
The galaxy that was being observed is situated 66 million light years away and measures approximately 33,000 light years across. While the nature and origin of the mysterious radio source remains unknown, it's important not to jump to conclusions. Most unexplained sources turn out to be pulsars, nebulae, quasars, and other similar objects. There's no immediate reason to jump to this extraterrestrial interpretation.
But it's always good to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we always
especially
like that.
if you're a mystery site.
Exactly.
Did you know male mice are terrified of bananas? Ian?
No, but I do know cats. Cats are scared of cucumbers. I do know that.
Oh, are they?
You can try that with
And I know Leslie's scared of the chives, isn't he?
Yeah.
Vic Reeves reference there, Ian.
Yeah, that's right. You wouldn't let it lie.
The chives.
Yeah. The
An Israeli
level,
bender. Yeah, he was
the spirit level. He liked the spirit level, and he didn't like the chives.
Oh, that's quite a good one. Karaoke is Japanese for Ting Tong Sing Song said, did he bend the key?
Yeah.
I think that's referring to the Roswell spaceship, I think. Or it might be.
Yeah.
If you see a mouse, wave your banana at it.
And if you see a cat, wave your cucumber at it.
Yeah.
So.
And if you see a dog, wave a sausage at it.
We need to do one day in the future. We need to do our live from Borley episode, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we need to do that, don't we?
The
There's no
place where
rec-
all the druids hang out, Bollywood.
Borley Rectory.
There's no rectory there anymore. It's gone, so it was demolished. So church is still there,
Hobbit,
but they locked
did
the
you-
church because they
Did you know male
get pissed
mice are
off with
scared of
people.
bananas? Hobbit.
Hmm?
Male mice are scared of bananas.
So that's what the song "Oh, Have a Banana" was about. Going
It's
down
about
the
scaring
strand,
mice.
see a mouse. Oh, have a banana.
No, that was the Cockney Wankers.
The Cockney Wankers.
A song
Um,
which was sung a lot in World War One when it's like, oh, there's mice in the trench again. Oh, have a banana.
Yeah.
Knees up, Mother Brown.
Did anybody
So-
watch the what's it called? The
Cunt.
Conjuring is on for is up for sale.
Yeah.
I did
I
see a
don't know
video
which.
where a lady was rubbing a cunt.
It's the most recent.
Yeah.
It's the most recent Conjuring. There you go. Free one there. The
You
Conjuring.
keep saying
Porno
conjuring.
porno parody.
So-
The Conjuring.
There's so many Conjurings, though. You're losing track now.
Yeah, this is why you had to read it. It's like the
Mm.
inspiration behind The Conjuring. It's the new one, whatever the latest one is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What is it? Is it a real thing that happened then? I'm not sure which.
It's immortalised by the popular 2013 supernatural horror movie. This remote Rhode Island farmhouse was the scene of a notorious real-life haunting that plagued the Perron family for years. Story goes that a witch cursed the property, dooming anyone who lived there. The Perrons experienced all manner of unexplained occurrences, which 2013, really? It was that long ago. I think they're
It's not
getting
that long
shit.
ago.
They're getting shit mixed up, aren't they?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
when was the most recent one?
Well, I would think it started around 2013, but there's been shitloads since, and I think there was the one with the nun recently, wasn't there? Then there was Annabelle about the doll thing, whatever.
There was the one that we covered on this show.
But the doll.
Right, so there's the 2013 was developing a sequel. The Conjuring 2 is what's it in it? The Enfield haunting, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Conjuring films in The Nun was 2018, and The Crooked Man, which is in development.
Yeah, I've not seen that one. It's
Oh no, is it?
Nun
It's
one.
the,
I thought was
The Conjuring, The
Nun
Devil
was-
Made Me Do It, 2021. That came out.
yeah.
Yeah. That's the one,
Yeah.
2020, last year's one. So, fucking idiot. Journalists are idiots. Me and Hobbit say it plenty enough, but it gets proved time and time again, doesn't it?
There's a new
Journalists
Hellraiser.
do not read out what they write. Fact.
Well, it
Except
actually,
they did.
well, that house went for 1.525 million.
Would think if Borley Rectory was still standing, that would cost a few quid if you
Yeah.
wanted to buy that. And Jeff the Talking Mongoose house, but it's a shame both
You
of those
can't, that's
houses have been
dead, yeah.
demolished. Yeah, well, they had to demolish the Borley Rectory because it was unsafe. But the Jeff the Talking Mongoose one was a strange demolition. I think it was 1970. It was
Yeah.
demolished, and there was no real reason for it.
Because Jeff, that's why.
Yeah, but he-
1,369 Draculas attend gathering outside Whitby Abbey.
Get a fucking life.
Look, mind you, it look like there's some big titty goth chicks there. Yeah, vampires are a bit sad, aren't they?
When you dress up as one and go to Whitby, they are, yeah. There's some good vampire films in there.
Surprised you didn't have someone's eye out. I bet it was fucking freezing up there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Vampiric Congregation, which set a new world record, marked the 125th anniversary of Bram Stoker's novel. Have you read the original? The original one. Let's have a look at some of these weirdos, shall we?
Not known, but there's so many films. I do like the original film with Nosferatu is a good film, isn't it? The original,
yeah.
the silent film. Yeah.
Count Orloff. Is it Count Orloff?
Max Schreck.
Yeah. You watched that film where they make out as if like he was really like that? Have you seen that one?
Wasn't Ian McKenna or one of those people in it? Someone like that
Probably.
one. Was that right? Wasn't it? Yeah, a bit arty.
To be fair, there's some hot chicks there by the looks.
Mm.
I'll bet. What do you think to the talent on display?
Boobs.
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 Big titty goth boobs.
Boob Olympics.
Well, I don't want to see Baldy, do we? We don't see you, Baldy, do we?
No, but more of the boobs would be all right. You know, in the course.
I thought the goths were something from the 80s. They still
Did
have
Iron
them now.
Maiden film Can I Play with Madness there?
I think they did, yeah. And Graham Chapman, who we mentioned earlier of Monty Python fame, he was in that video.
Oh, was he? Oh, was he the headmaster
Yeah.
geezer?
Yeah, before, yeah.
Oh, blimey! I thought he
shortly.
died years ago. I didn't realise he died like.
Well, it was. Well,
90s.
that was 1987, wasn't it? So it was.
Oh, was it
he
87?
died.
Was it Can I Play with Madness?
Yeah.
Hey, you got a study on this, bro? Study suggests there are 4 malicious alien civilizations in our galaxy.
Yeah, that's it. Just for in our galaxy, definitely not in in the world
Must be more
ready
than
to
that.
rise up.
Oh, basically, so critics, we've sent many signals out into the cosmos over the years, including some designed specifically to inform intelligent extraterrestrials that we exist and where to find us. Critics, including the late Stephen Hawking, have argued that doing this could have disastrous consequences if we should happen to gain the attention. Yeah, he's still. Yeah. Well, he's late.
He's dead, is he?
He's late.
I didn't know.
They just wait. He's not dead. He's late. They're just waiting for him to turn up. In a study, student Alberto Caballero, Vance Caballeros, they're a nice trainer, attempts to answer this question based on an analysis of invasions on Earth, countries invading other countries. An analysis in a what? In a new study, PhD. You have to read this twice because sometimes it's so fucking crazy. So he's based on the analysis of invasions on Earth, countries invading other countries, data regarding the estimated number of extrasolar planets in the Milky Way, and a certain degree of guesswork. I'd say it's about 10%. The rest of it, 90% guesswork, is probably the figure of guesswork. What do we reckon? So the answer we come up with was 4.
Yeah, and that's totally legit, real numbers.
Yeah,
and you should give me some more money. Give me money. Don't give money to the shark sleep guy. Give it to me.
Of course, as things stand, we know nothing about any extraterrestrial civilizations that might be out there, and basing their actions on what we know of human society is likely a futile exercise. We don't know the mind of extraterrestrials, Caballero told Motherboard. An extraterrestrial civilization may have a brain with a different chemical composition, and they might not have our empathy, or they might have more psychopathological behaviours, or they might not. Equally, mightn't they?
They might do something, they might not do something. We don't know.
I found this way to do the study, which has limitations, because we don't know what alien minds would be like. Wow. Thanks for that, Vance Caballero. You've completely fucking wasted my time.
I used to wear those. It was Vans Caballero. I used to wear those. I like them.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing them one day. And I thought, well, I'm 40. I'm 40 soon. I better stop wearing these now.
The Puma States were a good. The Puma Suedes were a good.
Yeah.
Still are. You can still get them now. That's how good they are.
Wear Clarks these days.
Yeah, Clarks.
Sensible shoes.
Not hush puppies.
No, but Clark's brand. Not Vans anymore, anyway.
So that's anything you want to talk about, Hobbit? Oh, Loch Ness Monster: A Modern History. Do you want to do that next week?
Yeah, we can do. I think I need to update my video on AI as well, because there's been some interesting happenings with AI recently, especially with 4chan's poll.
Just saw something about Queen's Jubilee. Is that a new one?
What, the hologram carriage?
Oh, is that what it is?
That might be it. Yeah, it was.
A UFO
Queen-
shows up during Queen's. A dot on the screen shows up during the Queen's Jubilee celebrations.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I was last month.
Oh, were you?
Went in there. Yeah, I went in there. So I got some footage. We'll see it next week. What does it say there then?
An unidentified object was picked up on. I mean, it looks like an artifact, doesn't it? Because it's like a white dot. As the UK, blah blah blah. Anonymous sighting occurred following a fly past of several historic aircraft, just as the red arrows came into view, leaving a trail of red, white, and blue smoke behind them. Televised footage shows a white object which first appears to the right of the jets, moving at considerable speed across the smoke towards the left in a relatively straight line.
Considerably, yeah.
Considerably.
Yeah, there's lots of questions to be answered. So,
Roots, bloody roots. Does anybody get that joke?
Yeah, niggers. It's a song by reggae artist I'm a Nigger.
All right, Hobbit. That's enough. You're allowed one per episode.
Oh, so I can't say but what if I say double Negro?
I'll let you say Negro.
Yeah. And then
You're obviously getting tired. You're obviously getting tired because you're coming out with N bombs.
It's just it's part of my constitutional
Hobbit,
First Amendment right.
Oh, have you seen NASA have done a sequel to the taping over the moon landings with EastEnders?
What have they done?
Large amounts of I don't think SETI are anything to do with NASA, but large amounts of SETI data could soon be lost forever.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
It's on tapes, and they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're just gonna like back up Pornhub or something onto these tapes. I don't know. LOL.
Yeah. Sadly, though, all good things must come to an end, and the crowdsourced computing aspect of the project has been on indefinite hiatus since 2020. It also turns out that much of the data collected during the early 2000s is now stored in obsolete formats on server hardware that became defunct and unsupported years ago.
Oh, that's a shame. I was just thinking about SETI at home the other day.
Silly excuse to investigate.
Well, it was a screensaver, and it would download like a 350 kilobyte file from SETI's website, and then it would show you some graphs of it analysing the waveform.
So basically, they saved all this stuff on Adobe Flash.
It probably saved it on some 1980s or 1990s era tape drives, which they're saying that they can't access anymore, which seems dubious to me.
Yeah, I don't see how you wouldn't be able to get this stuff transferred.
Yeah, they're probably just like, you know, the next part of the propaganda of Project Bluebeam and Aliens is coming out, so they're going to just shut down the SETI thing.
Yeah, it says obsolete formats and on-server hardware that became defunct and unsupported.
And?
Yeah, it's like, then there must be ways of getting this stuff going. It's not impossible, is it?
No, it's not. It's just, they're just winding down the project now.
Yeah, this is what they're doing. So
I bet any time anything interesting was detected in those signals, it was just covered up. Because I remember watching it one time and I saw an interesting signal. I thought,
Interdimensional Lizard said it was like crypto mining for space nerds.
Exactly. You use your CPU to process this data, and I used to watch it.
What was the point in processing that data? They don't give two fucks about the data, do they?
Well, I guess they don't know.
Because if they did give two fucks about the data, whenever the new format would come out, it would have been moved over to that, wouldn't it?
It's just, it's not. It's yeah.
Well, if you can download a fucking BIOS and play a Mega Drive game on your PC, then I'm pretty sure they can fucking sort some kind of emulated bullshit out for this, can't they?
More than likely, they just run out of money.
What server hardware could be defunct, Hobbit?
I really think it's just a case of old tape drives.
Yeah.
They're all the data stored on old tape drives, and nobody thought, oh, well, you know, hard drives are very cheap now. Maybe we should back this up to hard drives.
Why didn't they just back it up to hard drive? Then they could have saved the fucking the physical space, couldn't they?
Mm.
Imagine
But
how.
anyway,
I'll bet. Do you reckon they've got the
we,
big ones like you used to see on the old science fiction the big
we've
the big room
this is
size
very
thing with a tape on
interesting.
it?
Mm.
This speculation, yes, that's that's 1960s and 70s tech, but
Yeah.
you can still get modern tape drives with like pretty big storage capacity. They're
Yeah, they
still
look a bit
cheaper
like
per gig.
an 8-track, don't they? I've seen tape drives
Yeah,
before.
they're still cheaper per gigabyte than hard drives, but they're
Oh, it's a
sequential
Sepultura
RAIDs.
reference, Hobbit.
Like
They're a Spanish
like they
stock
have on
Brazilian metal band.
like they have on $6 Million Man.
Mm.
That one.
Well, anyway, it's now 9 o'clock, and I've got
Oh,
work
right.
early
So I
tomorrow
said
morning.
Vans Caballeros, and Dom Elfkicker said Max Cavalera. That's where Bloody Roots comes from.
Yep.
Right, Hobbit's having a tantrum. He's gone for shit. He's trying to derail the program. So I think we're done for tonight.
Well,
Before he has
derailing my own
fucking
derailing my own
meltdown live
program.
on the show.
I
Shit
did
his
everything that was needed in the
Before
first minute.
he fucking comes around my house and Amber Heard's my bed.
The rest of the show was just filibustering.
Anyway, night all. Stay spooky.
Bye.